Gal's video series on 2S LGBTQI family planning. I'm Aruna Boudram, and I'll be your host as we discuss family planning and assisted reproductive technologies for 2S LGBTQI communities in the Ontario context. In this episode, we'll be discussing Kira's question around egg donation. Kira asks, my partner and I are using an egg donated from a friend, but we don't want her to be involved in raising the child. Does she have a legal right to be listed as one of the parents? Thank you for this great and very common question, Kira. So you want to know if egg donors have the right to be registered as a parent or be involved in the child's life. This is a concern many intended parents have when they are exploring using a donor. Just because someone donates reproductive material, in this case an egg, does that make them a parent? In fact, Ontario law is very clear on this point. Just because someone donates reproductive material, that does not give them the inherent right to be recognized as a parent. But there are a few things you'll need to do to make sure that you and your partner are the ones listed as parents on your child's registration of birth and not your donor. The first thing is setting up an egg donor agreement. As long as you and your donor have a clear agreement in place, you will be able to register your child's birth with the intended parents, you and your partner. The egg donor agreement should include a section explicitly outlining parental rights, under which you can explicitly say that your egg donor is just that, a donor, and that they are not a legal parent of the child. If you haven't signed an egg donor agreement, or if one was signed after the child was conceived, that could hold up your child's registration of birth, and you may find yourself dealing with legal red tape that could have been easily prevented. For this reason, it is crucial that you and your egg donor prepare and sign an agreement before you do anything else. With all this said, some intended parents and donors do want to maintain a connection between the child and the donor. It might be as a parent or another type of family member, or even in a friend role. In these cases, again, it is essential to have an egg donor agreement in place to ensure all parties know what their rights and roles will be in the life of the child. In the case that an egg donor and intended parents do wish to have the egg donor play a parental role, they should speak to a lawyer about getting a co-parenting agreement in place. Having this agreement in place will ensure that both you and your egg donor are aware of each other's rights and responsibilities as they pertain to the child, their upbringing, and the donation generally. And since you mentioned having chosen to use a friend as your egg donor, there are some things you will want to consider to manage any risks. The first thing to note is that it is illegal to pay an egg donor for their eggs or any reproductive material. You may feel like expressing your gratitude to your friend for donating their egg through gifts or money. I cannot stress this enough, that you must resist that urge. Egg donors can only be reimbursed for expenses incurred as a result of the donation. There are specific Health Canada regulations outlining what a donor can and cannot be reimbursed for. It includes things like travel expenses to and from appointments, legal fees, counseling, or any other expenses they incur as a result of the donation. You can check out the full list of rules around allowable reimbursements on the Health Canada website. We've actually put a link to the page in the description below. I'd also strongly encourage you to speak with a fertility lawyer to make sure that everything is clear right from the start. The penalty for paying an egg donor is severe, a $500,000 fine or up to 10 years in jail. It's very important to make sure that if you are paying for any costs, there are receipts to go with them. Another thing you will want to think through early on is how to communicate to the child that they were conceived via an egg donor, if that is something you wish to tell your child. Again, since the donor is a family friend, it is likely your child will grow up, at least peripherally, knowing this person. And it is not uncommon for queer families to be asked about their child's origin story, including by the child themselves. So it is crucial to make sure that you and your donor are on the same page with regard to what information you wish to divulge about the donation to the child and to anyone else. This should all be outlined in the egg donor agreement. And so, to recap, your friend does not automatically have parental rights to the child simply because they are an egg donor. There are a few things you will need to consider when using a donated egg, such as what expenses your donor can be expected to be reimbursed for, confidentiality, and who can share what information about the donation. These are all things that can and should be expressly outlined in an egg donor agreement. To make sure your agreement is clear and to avoid any risk, it is critical that you engage a family or fertility lawyer sensitive to 2S LGBTQI identities and experiences. For more information and videos covering your questions related to 2S LGBTQI family planning through assisted reproduction, visit our program website at the link in the description below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us at EGAL Canada on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.